everyone. Today is October the 7th. I just want to do a quick update. So here are the stunted flowers. They haven't grown that much since the last time we saw. They're maybe growing a little, but nowhere near as where they should be at about the third week. This one's a bit yellow. It's yellow on the outside and it's more greener on the inside, as well as there's some splotches of brown. So I think this plant here is undergoing a nutrient lockout because I didn't pH the water correctly, and it's just the plant is not being able to uptake nutrients through its roots. So yeah, lesson learned, always pH your water even if you're starting out. I suspect this is nitrogen deficiency because it's yellowing from the outside, as well as it's probably starting from the bottom. So these ones are totally yellow and these ones are next to go. It's trying to eat itself to find more nitrogen, and I think there's some magnesium deficiency going on because of the brown splotches. And don't mind the watering, this is just an experiment. I know I can't save these girls, so I've just planted 2 new ones. So this plant right here germinated on October the 5th. It's been about 2 days. I think it's doing pretty well. The stem is getting thicker. Yeah, it's just been chugging along. I haven't given any nutrients or anything yet, just plain pH'd water. Oh, this time I dechlorinated my water as well, just to be extra cautious. Some people say dechlorination does nothing, some people say it does. It probably has some effect on it because chlorine, like, when you're in your swimming pool, they put chlorine in there to kill the bacteria and stuff. You don't want to be giving chlorine to the root zone where beneficial bacteria may be. So to dechlorinate your water that you get from your tap, you just leave it out for about 24 hours and the chlorine should evaporate out. So it's probably best to use that and then pH it and then just water it. Here's the other one. Other autoflower that I planted. It's been 1 day, October the 6th. I think it's doing all right too. So yeah. And then when you're watering these plants here, you want to be watering around the plant so the roots from the plant can actually start searching for water, versus if you were to water right underneath, the plant wouldn't have to move as much and they can just use their roots to suck the water up, but this will not form a nice root system. And you know how important it is for a good root system to uptake nutrients later on and water and all that other good stuff. The last thing I want to mention is my wife asked me, why am I growing these plants in 5-gallon pots when I could be using a small pot and control my watering, versus why do I have to make my watering harder in a bigger pot? Well, mostly you guys probably already know, because you guys are all connoisseurs, that autoflowers, their flowering is dependent on time, not dependent on the light cycle. So last grow, remember we did the 18 hours of light and 6 hours of darkness in the beginning to mimic the long summer days where the cannabis is comfortably growing. Then we switched it to 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness, and that was to kind of mimic the, oh crap, winter's coming, right? So then the flower starts flowering, so the cannabis plant starts flowering, and then that's when it starts making its buds, right? Well, autoflowers, they will just flower no matter how much light you give them. You can technically keep this light on 24/7, and at a certain point maybe down the road. It really is strain dependent, but it'll just flower on its own. But for this grow, I'm using the 1816 all the way through. Some people go 20 hours of light and 4 hours of darkness, but I'm gonna just try 1816 because it's my first auto flower grow, and I'm not really sure how it's gonna go. Oh, and I'm not sure if I answered this. So the reason why I'm using a 5-gallon pot is because if I was to transplant the flower from a small pot to a big pot, it could cause stress to the plant, which could delay optimal growth, right? And therefore you would suffer in yields. So a lot of people will usually use like the pot they want to grow in for the whole life cycle of the autoflower. However, there are people out there who do transplant successfully and get just great as yield as like growing it from a 5-gallon pot. And I'm learning a lot right here, just even using a 5-gallon pot to start off with, because I'm really learning how much I'm supposed to be watering versus my other grow when I just soak the whole thing. So that's what I've learned. So I know this was longer than my other video, but I think that's it. Peace out.